Now, not long ago, in the Republic of the Oil, Uncle Jim and Uncle Bill had the kittle on the boil. 15-6, said Jim, and 2 peers 10. I see in the news we're a half province again. Yes, sir, Bill said, with McMurray not there, since our fellows all got homesick and moved back to here. And the price of a barrel has got right out of hand, sure I can barely put gas in my old 12 land. Jim read the news while he waited to play and said, Looks like the government must be doing okay. They got a tender put out, right here on page 8, for a Labrador tunnel under Belle Strait. Yes, boy, said Bill, as he put down a card. Sure, I might bid on that. It shouldn't be too hard. Take a month, I suppose, he said with a shrug. Sure, my wood is all split and my praties all dug. Well, Jim roared out laughing. A month now, he said. I could do it in a month and spend half that in bed. Bill didn't like that much, and he challenged out Jim. He said he figured he'd get across faster than him. And so that was it, sir. The boys were rowed out. There always was something they were rowed out about. Like whose boat was better, and who grew the best cabbage. And a Canadian's Leafs game could turn the boys savage. That's it then, said Jim, giving Bill a hard look. I'm leaving tomorrow from Glen Brook. Well, Bill said he'd go southbound from in Fort Hope Bay. I dare say, he said. They wants a tunnel each way. About 3 the next morning, Bill got out of bed and went out in back of his house to his shed, where he changed out the track on his old snowmobile to one with 15-inch cleats made from reinforced steel. Then he roared across the Straits to the Labrador side early enough, so he thought, till he spied Uncle Jim in the landwash at Glen Brook. Jim was looking right back, and it was some dirty look. He was just getting ready to start on his dig, strapped in the seat of a queer-looking rig. Perhaps odd is the right word. You've never seen odder. 'Twas a make-and-break-powered 10-foot-long pot auger. Jim spun his flywheel and put his auger in gear, and bawled to the crowd gathered round to stay clear. Then as he went under and clean out of sight, he took one last mark off the point of more light. Bill, in the meantime, was a quarter-mile down, with a good lead on Jim till he got all turned around. See, his sense of direction was not all the best, and he was headed up the shore towards West St. Modeste. The point on Jim's auger had a couple of flaws, and he wasn't going as straight as he thought that he was. When he thought he'd crossed over and came up for a look, he was in Glen Cove, right by Glen Brook. Bill thought for sure he was over by now, but when he came to the surface he found that somehow his course had been wrong, sir, mile after mile, and he was up on the southwestern shore of Belle Isle. My blessed, he said, when he saw where he was. He thought he'd been headed right fair straight across. Oh, well, he said, digging down again quick, it's a nice place to stop for a lunch or picnic. Jim, in the meantime, was back down below, watching his compass and taking it slow. But a big iron deposit meant his compass was out, and in fact he was headed straight east just about. He'd sharpened his auger and was making good time. He'd topped off his gas, and all systems was fine. So he tipped back his seat, and he put up his feet, and in no time at all, sir, he fell fast asleep. Bill was gone wrong again, 'twill be no surprise, and was having a lunch with a nice bunch of boys, 'cause that's who you run into now any old time your tunnel runs into a Cape Breton mine. He sang a few songs with the coal mining boys, and then he went to set course, having 2 or 3 tries. But it wasn't so easy, as you may agree, with neither the Pole Star nor Dipper to see. Now, Jim had been up pretty late the last night, watching the halves beat the Leafs again, right? So he never woke up for 10 hours at least, while his auger bored on, heading straight to the east. Where'd Bill come up next? I can now hear you say. Well, you wouldn't believe me, so I'll put it this way. He was having a beer with his first cousin Pat and her husband, who live right in downtown Manhattan. Jim finally woke up with a bit of a fright. He'd come out in a tunnel all lit up and bright. People were staring, and he felt kind of silly, and then he read out a sign on the wall. Piccadilly? Oh my, he said, I'm a bit off my mark. It can't be the Port-a-Port one with the park. He cursed on himself for his extra long nap, and some Englishmen spoke up and said, Mind the gap. And so that was enough for both Jim and Bill. Of the tunneling business they'd both had their fill. They came to the surface and got home that night, feeling too foolish and too tired to fight. But it will be all to the good in 2041 when the contract is over and when we can run a power line east to light London and Fork, off another one southward to light up New York.